How to set up the power. Start by taking the solar panel basic from the lander. In the other hand, take a power controller kit. Move to your base, and in this corner here, place the solar panel flat with the power pointing in this direction towards the base. Initially, one of the biggest constraints on your base design is going to be the amount of cable you have available. Longer term, you'll want to move the solar panels further from the structure and raise them so that they get more light and less shadows. But in the short term, the most important thing is to have enough cable left over to be able to connect the power here, at least as far as the airlock here, whilst also connecting an arc furnace which we'll place here and an auto lathe that we'll place here in order to produce materials. So it's very tight. We're going to put a solid generator in here. That's not the best place because it will cast a shadow on the solar panel, but really the constraint, as I say, is the amount of available cable. We're going to place the area power controller here. Notice it's not in the middle, it's just offset slightly towards this corner of this frame, and we will have it pointing, so the input is on the side of the solar panel, the output is towards the hab. Left click to place. The second one we may use in the airlock, so drop that there. You can open the area power controller with the crowbar, and that reveals the controls inside. We'll complete the solar panel by picking up the glass and finishing the construction with a left click. Leave the glass there because we're going to need it again, and we will connect the cable to the input of the area power controller. I recommend having the wire cutters in your other hand when placing cable because it allows you to modify the angle. So if we use the mouse to roll to a corner and then delete to rotate it, I can then place this like this, and you'll see that's feeding in nicely. However, we're going to want to also add the solid generator, so actually we need to convert this to a junction, and you can do that as long as you've got the wire cutters in the other hand by just going to a straight there, and you'll see if I remove the wire cutters and attempt the same thing, that comes up red and I can't do that. So we're going to place that there. I'm not exactly sure how much space we're going to need solid generator, so now's a good time to go and take the solid generator off the lander, and it's a simple right click to place. You can rotate with delete or with the C button, which will allow you to switch through all possible rotations. You need to place it as close as you can to that solar panel. Unfortunately, it will cause a shadow during part of the day, but you do need to do that because otherwise you'll run out of cable. Make sure that the power is pointing the direction of the hab. Left click to place, then taking the cable coil and connect that into there. So now we have two power generation devices feeding the area power controller. Turn the power on there, and finally, if we remove the spare battery, which is in construction supplies 2, initially it's fully charged, so we will place that into the area power controller. Initially this is the only battery supply for your base. All power will drain from it and all power will charge into it, so be aware that obviously you don't have a lot of power there. The next thing we're going to do is connect the output side of the area power controller, and I'm going to do that with one piece of straight cable here, and then I'm going to put a junction across here. And the reason I'm going to do that is I want some power over this side to drive machines, and I also need to power this airlock.